Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Crypto Entrepreneurs Podcast with your host, Charles. Enjoy. What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 24 of the Crypto Entrepreneurs Podcast. I'm your host, Charles, and today we're sitting down with one of my favorite artists, KryptiCrooks. And before we start this episode, I just want to preface it with this episode was filmed quite some time ago. And since then, we're going to be talking about this mural that he has created. And this mural's already dropped, so you guys have already seen it. But let's get into it. So, KryptiCrooks, how's your day going?
Oh, it's going great. Can't complain. I'm a little chilly, but, we'll take it.
There we go. Can't complain. So before we really jump into things, can you kind of give us some background on yourself and then how you got into crypto?
Well, about me, I've just have always wanted to uniquely express myself one way or another. I thought video was going to kind of be my route or my path. Get outside of the box to try to do something really cool, and I love animated humor, etc. So taught myself pretty much everything via YouTube videos, and I was going to do something similar for my brother's brewery back when I was quite a bit younger. They were funded by some older money, so it was a little bit more tame. Now I came to crypto. Actually, to answer your question before, I got into crypto around right before Mt. Gox, and I was very impressionable, but I had a decent amount, and my marketing manager was like, "That's going straight to the gutter. You're doing the wrong thing. You need to get out now." And right after Mt. Gox, I just dipped and didn't really look much back to it afterwards. Kind of came around. I got back into it heavily 2017, I'd say, and watched that amazing stuff happen and rode the wave and learned a lot about market cycles and etc. But my whole idea was to apply kind of my passion. I wanted to build a business out of, because understanding blockchain like you and I do, this is revolutionary, and we're one of the few that see it. So it's important to kind of, be a part of it. So my whole concept was, I was just thinking, I was like, man, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? How am I going to? So at the time I was playing around with drop shipping just as a hobby to see if I could make it work. And I put my online store up. And then I was trying to think about creating some unique merchandise or something. So I started doing a few designs, and I wanted to see what people thought about it. Sorry, I got a yelling Shiba Inu behind me.
It's okay.
That's the Dogecoin dog too. So hey, chill out. So yeah, back to where I was at. I was trying to see how people felt about my sort of designs, and I made two Bitcoin characters. One was a whale and one was a fudster, and I put it on Reddit, the cryptocurrency page, and it just blew up, and it made it to the front page, and there was thousands of comments and amount of upvotes, and I was like, man, I got to do something with this. So from there, I was just a voice for this movement. So I started making a bunch of animations, and they were just kind of what was happening during the time. And I think they're funny. I mean, most people I don't know whether they're talking to me, because that might be a biased opinion or whatever, but I've made a lot of people laugh from them. And it was literally 3 weeks of nonstop work, and it was just crazy hours. And I was doing it for free, and I would put it up on YouTube and literally get like views, and I would put it all over the place. So that was really hard to me. So I was like, but I was like, I love this. This is so cool, but nobody is seeing this. So I had to pivot and kind of look at it more strategically. And then I became friends with CryptoCandor. She's a great reviewer of projects online. And she was telling me about Twitter. Never touched Twitter in my life. I got into Twitter and just community and just started collaborating with people and making little joke comics and doing it and kept doing it. And then this whole concept evolved into yearly mural. And I am just ecstatic to kind of show this thing here in the next few weeks. So I've got all of 2018 done, and it's been a wild ride. I cannot believe how much this thing has evolved since day one. So,
when you were first starting out, you got into cryptocurrency as kind of this revolution and this, on the finance side of things, really, and the investing side of things, like many people did. And then you kind of started to apply, what you were doing outside of crypto to crypto. You created these little kind of comics, or not comics, but
like crypto characters,
yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, you created these 2 crypto characters, and you blasted it out on Reddit, and you kind of let the market, or not the market, but you kind of let everyone else dictate whether this was something of value, and it blew up on Reddit. And so this kind of fell into your lap of something that, wow, this could take off. And I think the first time I actually saw anything from you on Twitter was the Shill Nye comic that you did. Little graphic where he's walking into the bank, and I lost it, man. That was hilarious. So that was the first time I saw you, and I was like, this is very unique, the way that you put together the design. It looks very sleek, and so that's why I reached out to you. So
yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah, I love the art, love what you're doing. So can you talk to us about maybe the first time that you made money with any of this, where you commissioned a piece?
Yeah, absolutely. So I kind of built my, I guess, name, small market, and operations. I started getting more people following me, and by no means am I a follower or whatever, account that some of these guys are out there, but I guess people kind of, and then I had some people start hitting me up in the DMs asking me to do stuff. I want to charge at first because I just didn't think that I was ready for it. I wanted to just produce great content. And then just a lot of people started hitting me up, and I couldn't really manage the comics and putting out great content to appease the real, questions that people wanted to be a part of this. I was like, all right, well, I can give you my time if you provide an awesome comic concept for me, or I'm just gonna have to charge. So in $300 in Bitcoin, I was doing avatars for people, and the way I look at it, it's either trade or it's just gonna have to be paid for my time. Insane amount of detail into it, but yeah, people just started hitting me up, and next thing I know, I was doing commissions for people's podcasts. People were paying me in Bitcoin, and quite a bit, because the past 2 months I have been basically working on my mural and organizing everything. So a bit of time in there where it was pretty interesting. So
Yeah,
turning the
yeah.
corner, it'll be fun to kind of get back to putting stuff out there.
For anyone who's listening, you were again just kind of working on your projects, and then people started reaching out to you. I know a lot of people are thinking, well, that doesn't happen too often. So it sounds like you got, a little bit lucky, but also that really speaks to the quality of the content that you were putting out. So, you put out this great work, people see it, they start to realize, wow, this guy's got some great stuff, and then, you start getting commissions. So to anyone listening who wants to kind of break into this industry, it starts with great content. So really work on that. And then you said,
Yeah,
you were kind of doing stuff for free at first, and then, you wanted people to come up with, a great concept because it was just becoming too much work. And that's when you kind of finally made that push to charging people. And I think a lot of people struggle with that as well. They don't think that their art or their stuff, their content that they're putting out is worth charging for, or they can't figure out how much to charge for it. So can you speak to how you kind of figured that whole thing out, how you figured out pricing and charging for commissions?
yeah, absolutely. And I wanted to elaborate on kind of what you said as well. That's trying to start something in this. What you don't see behind closed doors is shit you not, excuse my language, but I did nothing all of 2018 besides draw. And I'm not even that good at it, but I just felt like there is a opportunity here. So, sharpen my blade like every single minute of the day for a year straight. And I genuinely do not think that I'm that great. It takes me a long time to get the lines in the right proportions that I like. So to apply it to creating great content, just understand the competitive level there, and don't give yourself an excuse to why it won't work. And I think that's one of the biggest ways that we push ourselves out of being successful. It's so easy to find a reason why it's not going to work. Um, but the reality of the situation is you have to think critically and try to find something where you fit and that you're able to do it and just bust your ass, because I'm not really anywhere yet. I don't know if I'm the one that should be this, but if you look historically, all these people that are incredibly successful, there's a trend and they're speaking the same lingo. This stuff doesn't happen easily, it's like you have to silence that inner voice and get to work, because I'm not kidding, man. Like, I'm a very social person, but I didn't even go out and socialize but once or twice in 2018, because I would wake up at almost 5 a.m. on Friday and Saturday, or Saturday and Sunday, and just try to come up with concepts. And I'm not doing great. I'm not saying that I'm like there or anything, but I'm making money from it. And it was very hard to do. You really need to sharpen your blade. That would be my best advice, because this is a once in a lifetime movement, and there's so many ripe opportunities that are yet to be unveiled in crypto and blockchain. So how you're going to strategically attack this? My goal was to express myself through, comic characters that I think are really cool, and just apply my like kind of sick, twisted sense of humor to it, So that's my stick, and there's going to be a stick for anybody, but just be self-aware and try to figure that out and bust your ass. As cliche as that sounds, it just is so true. It just continually really represents itself by other people's success. So as cliche as I may sound right now, it's just so true, man. You just have tunnel vision and silence your inner voice to make it happen.
I mean, I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs and they bring up these, cliches as you say, but they're cliches for a reason. You're not going to get anywhere if you don't put the effort in. And I really liked what you said about, there's a million reasons why it's not going to work, but you can't look at any of those. You need to look at the one that says why it is going to work. And I think that is priceless knowledge for people to know going into this.
Yeah,
There's going to be slip
but
ups, and there's going to be setbacks at every which corner. And you, myself, everyone I've talked to has in some way dealt with some sort of setback, but you just keep pushing forward and you keep working, and eventually you reach a point where, you're selling your art now. So for everyone who's listening, really, really take that to heart and realize that you're going to have to work harder than you think you are.
yeah, and the thing is like I'm not one. I don't know if I'm supposed to be like a motivational speaker or what have you, but I mean, I've failed at so many things before this, but I believe that self-awareness is so important. And I know I'm sure a lot of you guys hear about Gary Vaynerchuk. I watched that guy like 24 and he was a nobody. I saw him speak here in Dallas, Texas, speaking about self-awareness since the beginning, and fail fast. That's important because you're taking chances. And when you know that age and you do that, that speaks more volumes than any sort of like judgment that might come your way, because entrepreneurship it's a very lonely, that's just the truth. I mean, it's hard as hell, and you have to work two jobs, whatever. I mean, it's going to interfere with relationships, and this is just a fact. I mean, the competitive landscape is just but if you want to take that path and you can make it happen, which I genuinely believe that this space for opportunity, that you're in the right place to try to be an entrepreneur in one shape or form, just saddle up and sharpen your blade. So
Yeah,
my
I think
points.
well, I think the great thing about this space is that so many people in it are so forward thinking and innovative, and they've really got their future on their mind, and so that's why they've been drawn to this space. So they're one step ahead of so many people, and if they're listening now, they're taking the time to learn from others who have gone through it already. So I think anyone who's listening to this, you're already two steps ahead, and just continue down that path and you will be successful. Kind of moving forward from that, from the first couple pieces that you've sold to being commissioned to do animation, not animation, but characters and stuff. What you kind of mentioned 28, sorry, you kind of mentioned 2018. You've been very antisocial and you've been working on your business. Can you talk about what it is exactly that you had been working on for all of 2018?
Yeah, so it was kind of a grand scheme of things. When I started out doing animation for cryptocurrency, I guess day one, I was drawing some characters, some crypto characters, and I wanted to see where it would go. And I put it out on Reddit. It was really exciting, and I was thinking, how am I going to take this to the next step? And of course, me being just, like subject to pain and torture, I was going to make myself do animation, which one man team, I can't even comprehend. I cannot describe how difficult it is. Doing that, I was making videos, didn't really make much happen. Then didn't really get any views, so I had to transition, and I got into comics. And I was thinking, what am I going to do with all these comics? They've got to be worthwhile to something. They've got to be how. So what I did is I would continue to collaborate with as many people as I possibly could, and many people, I was putting them on this massive canvas. So all the characters, their assets, and I moved them onto another canvas, which was basically, it is a mural that kind of is a compilation of everything that happened in 2018. So from that is I'm going to continue to do these comics, and I'm going to create a mural every year that encapsulates kind of everything that happened. So I'm going to be releasing this mural, and I spent like the last 2 months to organize everything. I'm really, really, really excited to. I would say it's the most work that I put into anything in my life, and I put over 400 hours in it, easy. I don't know. I get to reveal it next week, and really excited to hopefully stir the pot and raise awareness to people that don't know anything about crypto. That's the main goal. So I'm trying to bring more traders and more people into the game, and raise adoption, and hopefully along the way. So that's the whole idea, is the comics kind of build my brand, build my awareness, and I don't expect to make money from these comics yet. I don't know. I'm probably going to put them as limited supply on the blockchain eventually, but about are these yearly murals, and it's about to be released here in the next week or so. And that's the whole idea, comics to mural that encapsulates everything that's happening in crypto, to raise awareness to people that don't know anything about crypto.
I was going to kind of ask, how, or, what the point of the mural was, but you touched on it perfectly to bring awareness. So perfect on that.
Yeah, I'm going off on tangents, so kind of
No, don't worry about it.
Interrupt me or whatever.
No, don't worry about it at all. So yeah, I mean, for anyone who's listening, by the time this airs, this mural is going to have been dropped. Everyone is already going to have viewed it. So you've got this mural. It's dropping in a week or so. We're 2-3 weeks into 2019. It'll be around the end of January when this drops. Can you tell us what you're most excited for 2019 with with your art, regards to your art, what you're planning on doing, any big moves that you're going to be making, and then 2, with cryptocurrency in general? Can you just talk to us about, what you're looking forward to?
Yeah, for sure. I know what would happen if some institutional money came in, but I think that's on a lot of people's mind, trying to really change the game. And I don't think it's going to be as easy as people think it's going to be, because these guys are super smart, these retail investors, institutional investors, but it's going to stir the game up. And I think that excites me, of crypto, because it'll raise awareness, if anything. I mean, Bitcoin I genuinely believe it's going up, and that might be a foolish statement, because a lot of people believe that if they're listening to this. I just am anxious to kind of see how it affects the whole game, and it'll be exciting. And then in regards for me, I feel like I'm in a very, than when I was at the beginning of. I've actually got some people that are going to help me out this year, so I think I'm going to have opportunity for better content and better artwork, I think.
Perfect. So content and artwork, it just sounds like you're continuing to hone your craft and work on, what your whole business model is about. So I like that. I think that's what everyone should be doing. We've had a long bear market, and I personally believe that we might see some sideways action for a while. So now's the time to really now's the time to really just put your head down and grind and go into that work mode. Forget about price action for a little. If you're trying to build a business, focus on that and really build up your skills, build up your network. This is the time where the winners are going to be made, and come next bull run is when you're really going to see some stars shine, and those are the people who are really putting their heads down right now. So
Heck yeah, no, I agree with that, man. I do think we're going to go sideways for a little bit. So, and you gotta, now's the time to establish connections and talk to people, because like what I've been doing is, since with all these collaborations, it's connected me with most of the in this space, and I hit them up all the time just to talk. And I wouldn't be able to do that if it was in the bull run. I don't think I'd be able to. Guys, so yeah, that's very valuable to on the bear market, because you never know where your connections will take you.
I think the network is, one of the biggest parts of success in this space, because there's so many different people doing so many different things. And, if you collaborate with just a couple of them, you're all going to bring each other up and kind of showcase each other's work, and it'll really be mutually beneficial. So get out there, talk to people, start collaborating with people, offer them something that, no one else has offered them before. Don't just expect them to give you something. You really need to offer them something and collaborate with them if you want to build that network up. And then lastly, before we jump off, there's a lot of artists out there, and there's a lot of people who are trying to apply their craft to cryptocurrency in some way. I've seen some paintings done. I've seen, different people trying to jump into different mediums. If you could just give them, one overarching tip on how to get started and how to start monetizing their skills, that would be super awesome. Or, another way I like to ask this question is, if you were starting over right now, you didn't have any of the connections, you had none of the artwork that you have made, what is the first thing that you would do?
Yeah, great question. I sincerely believe this came from collaborations. So what I would do is, so many people turn me down that I hit up bots and just tried to show them a little glimpse of what I'm able to do. And that's what you should do. It's all about collaborating and building your brand. I mean, if you want to turn your art into, value, build your brand. And I think right now is such a great time to be involved in artwork with the changes that are coming, because of blockchain, it really is in the favor of the artists, because now there's such a short time frame where the art now, I think, is going to be an image of the technology. I mean, this is like the genesis of a transition in artwork. So it's going to be more valuable, even if it's not or whatever. I mean, everybody looks at things differently. Art is strange, right? So if you're considering something like this, then collaborations are to building value in, your brand, and your brand speaks for itself. So you have to make it something great. Like I go on Twitter and you see all these really cool logos that look like they could be worth a lot. But if you're not working on what that logo means and you're not connecting with people, then I think you're doing yourself a disservice, because social media is so especially important right now, because you're able to connect to people being in the bear market. Like all the heavy hitters, they're still looking on Twitter, they're still talking, they're still around. and you have a chance to connect with them right now. Now, if it's the bear market, the bull market, it's going to be harder to connect to these people. So collaborations, reach out to people. And if I were to redo it over, I probably would have never done any of the animation. I would have just jumped straight into collaborations and started talking to people and reaching out. I mean, reach out, hit everybody's inbox up, even if you feel like you're being annoying. And people will turn you down. A lot of people turn me down, and they're not on this mural. And I would have loved to have them, but I hope that they feel regret when they see this thing, because that's their fault, but whatever, it doesn't matter. It's like, you have to bust your ass, and collaborations are so big. I think that's how you can build a business in today's day and age.
I mean, for this podcast, I've reached out to countless people, and of course you get the people who just completely ignore you, no response whatsoever. Then you get the people who say no, they don't have the time. It doesn't seem like something they want to do, but eventually you find those people who want to come on, and it makes it that much better. So these collaborations, you really do need to reach out. With respect to art, you could have the best art. You could have the most beautiful painting, or you could be the best at graphic design, but it can only take you so far. If you aren't reaching out to anybody, no one's really gonna see it and make the effort to reach out to you and turn your art into something. You're gonna have to do that. You're gonna have to make the effort. You're gonna need to make those connections. And like you were saying, I think this is a perfect time to do it. There's a bit of a lull. Things have slowed down a lot on all social media forms. So start now. Reach out to as many people as you can. And also, one thing that wasn't super heavily touched on is, perfect your craft. Those three things right there are going to make you very successful if you do them now and you start right now.
Yeah, and make your brand worthwhile. Put your brand in front of people, and you can do that most efficiently through collaborations. And with time, I hope if I continue doing these, like, heavy hitters will start hitting me up, instead of the vice versa. And that's a perfect world. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I know that I'll probably hit those people up anyway. So
yeah, it's because you're a go-getter. You've kind of got that mentality that you need to reach out, and I don't think that's ever going to be a bad thing.
Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, I turned hundreds and hundreds of hours into money in a shitty market. So I don't know. I don't want that to come off as like, but I mean, it just says that, if you work, it'll happen. It doesn't matter what sort of market you're in.
Yeah, definitely. Comes back right around to, you need to put the effort in.
Yeah, no doubt.
So I really appreciate you sitting down and talking to me, man. I'm super stoked for this mural. I caught a quick glimpse of it, and I'm really looking forward to it getting dropped. And I look forward to seeing. Man. Yeah, man. I look forward to seeing anything you've got going on in the future. I really appreciate you sitting down and taking the time to talk to me today. All right, guys, that wraps up another episode. And I just want to take a quick second to ask you a huge favor. If you found anything in the episode helpful, or it's been inspiring to you in any way, I just ask that you share it with your friends, family, anyone you know on social media, and hopefully we can help them out as well. Have a good one.